Hey everyone, welcome to our sprint or iteration release video. We'll be going over the things that we've worked on for the last 2 weeks as part of the digital experience team sprint goals. So I believe kicking it off is Lauren.
Yeah, so for this iteration, we launched the Typeform content type to CMS. So you can now build and edit Typeform landing pages in Netlify CMS. And here is our first one. And you will see that page now in the CMS. The second thing is this was the whole digital experience team. We have migrated all child topics pages over to the new template and they are deployed. So this was a really big epic and everyone chipped in and helped with getting all those pages over to the new template. So that was awesome. We've made an update to the Netlify CMS Handbook page. That's always a good page. Just keep checking it. We're iterating very quickly on that system. For this iteration, I also deployed 3 slippers components into the www repo. Me and Tyler have been really working on that blog template and getting it launched. And the digital experience team is now in the group conversation rotation. So we will be after the learning and development team. It hasn't been put on the calendar yet. They're still working on it, but we're in there and we're signed up. So that'll be a reoccurring, we'll just be on the schedule. And then this was me, mostly Tyler, but Rollup has been migrated into Webpack and we had a few edge cases, fixed those and it's been real silent. So we're done with that one. And I'll pass it over to Jess.
She's, I think, on PTO, but she mentions here she's been working really hard on the navigation design, doing a bunch of testing. I think there's a Figma file there for all of the links in the about.com header. So yeah, it looks like lots of updates there and lots of research happening. Looks very pretty. And I believe that her next item, maybe Stephen, do you want to talk about this since you're kind of linked on it? Or
yeah, sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. Yeah, so or unmute button, I should say. Seems to be a common issue today. So yeah, we both worked on the features partner page. I had started it and then it was a little bit quiet until we got some content and a bit more direction around structure of the page. So Jess has kind of taken over on this. So she's working on the AWS particular page and put in some content. So I've taken over this while she's out today. If there's any feedback, so far there's nothing. But yeah, this is acting as a template for other pages too, I believe as well. So yep, that's the page right there.
Sweet, and I think Tyler's up next.
Yeah, first one, this was actually Michael did it because I didn't have permissions to do the thing. But thank you, Michael, for fixing Geekbot for us. So now we're all getting the mid-iteration check-ins. Should be through that channel. If not, I think he also gave us access to manage it. So if we have to troubleshoot it, we can now, which is great. Thank you again, Michael. Merged the initial blog template MR that was in the slippers repo itself. Still things to clean up there, but clean up over sign off and all that. And what that did was it enabled Lauren and I to like get started on that epic that she mentioned earlier. Now that we've got stuff up in there and like published to the package. So that was super exciting. Got to demo it today in the inbound marketing meeting. Then we started, and the separate template for the slippers blog, which is, sorry, I've forgotten which one this was. I wrote this last night. Oh yeah, we started the skeleton for basically like what will be the blog template in www so that we could have like a clean work surface to start doing all that integration work. That's what that is. And then I also did a couple of the components, the click to tweet component, updated some documentation in the digital experience process page, And then I've got one thing to show the pricing calculator, which is, it's in review. I'm pretty sure it's like all totally wrapped up. You can, change it and see the price changes and stuff. There's like, need some copy. I need a little bit of verification on the formula, but I've gone back and forth a handful of times with the folks there, and I'm feeling pretty good about where the formula is at. So yeah, super exciting. And up next is Javi.
Let me unmute because I have my unmute in another screen because I'm screen sharing. Hello. I worked on aligning or trying to align about GitLab and slippers. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on this, as referenced by something that I'll share with you in a second. I added a lot of MRs and still one open issue for documentation for this kind of stuff. Lauren posted this like really obvious, like, duh, we should have this written somewhere about like the workflow of like from slippers to about GitLab. That's just like we've implicitly like described, but like no one outside of this team is going to know to do. So that's like something that's like super duh that we should add in there. So we'll make an MR for that soon. Extended buttons, I have an MR open for it that I have not gotten back to in quite a while. I should probably rebase this sometime soon. DevOps download, I have an MR on the slipper side and the dev side. I'll share this. I didn't put show, but I'm sharing, so I can do whatever I want. So this is what this looks like on the slipper side. I tried to use like just HTML to HAML converter to see like what would happen. Good news, it looks a little better than what I shared in Monday's or earlier today's meeting. I don't know why I said Monday. So progress on that. And we'll try to figure that out. I'm trying to see if there's any other stuff that I got to cover, but I think that's it. Next up is Sami.
Thank you very much, Ali. So we developed a new version for our partners overview page, and we were comparing how it looks before and how it looks presently. And the response we've been getting from everybody is that this looks way much more better than what we had before. So we are still going to be iterating to see what we need to improve. We're going to be checking all the click-through rates of all the buttons and the feedback we're going to be getting from our partners. So in order to know what to do much more better. So Jesse is always on this, and someone also from another department that we're working on the content. So this is one of the pages that we just released during the sprint. And secondly, our Google Tag Manager, I've been working on our Google Tag Manager to check all the triggers and all the tags to ensure that all the buttons and the videos are actually being tracked by Google Analytics, because we discovered that the videos inside the pop-up were not really tracking on our Google Analytics. So I'm currently on that, and it's ongoing, and I'm loving the experience. So the next person right now is Tina.
Thanks, Sunny. Oh, I'm losing my voice. So I started planning for a GitLab events page CMS template using commit as a first use case. Special thanks to Michael for setting up a kickoff call. It really helped me wrap my head around the task. And I also started defining the different blocks that will be needed as the event goes through different stages. That was the spreadsheet that you were just looking at. Next, I made some headway on the user journey prospects to the free trial page OKR. This issue was promoted as an epic, and I've started assigning issues to collaborators. Niall created some spreadsheets that identified the top pages that feed to the free trial page, and Shane has applied heat mapping to those pages. So now we're just waiting for data to see what our next move will be. Card UX, I made some headway also in defining our content card anatomy. I created some variations based on content types that will hopefully help wayfinding for information seekers and increase engagement. Yeah, those are all the cards. And last, block templates. So I released our block templates to the inbound marketing team, and I'm planning to add instructions and links to the handbook after my Git 101 with Lauren. And that's it for me. Who's next? Laura.
Yeah. Last iteration, I had shown Slippers radio buttons, and to round that out, I also added checkboxes. So those are available in an MR or in that review app, which is a small mighty contribution to Slippers. And then I also have been working on updates to the www repo for spacing and padding, and trying to align those with the spacing and padding that we set out in Slippers. And lastly, I did very first iteration of our commit page for this upcoming August. So this is using the existing pieces of code that we had from last year's commit event. So the styling is very similar to last year, but as Tina was mentioning, we've had a kickoff meeting to align on what future events pages should look like, and adding templates for events pages to the CMS. So someday that'll be a little bit refreshed looking, a little nicer to edit. And that's it for me. I think next is Stephen.
Yes, indeed. Blog post that went up, but then we had to do edits. So it was great to learn how to post the blog through Netlify, which is really cool. Thanks to Tina and Lauren for that. And then sort of a happy coincidence, then it kind of ended up showing how to do blog post edits, which, if you don't mind if I share my screen for a brief moment. Here, it looks a little bit narrow, so I'm only on my laptop today. I don't have two monitors. So this was sort of new, and learning this was a bit of a, let's get it out here. Learning this was a bit of a hill to climb, which was to get, when there's edits made, like how do you make these and how it gets pushed and all these other things. So it was really cool to learn through that, especially as we intend to probably post more blogs. So that was fun. Great feedback from Sarah as well. She's really good at sort of looking at things from an outsider perspective. I got a little bit too internal, thinking, of course, everybody knows what a design system is. How could they not? Silly billies, which is not the case. And then just to stop sharing my screen, sorry. Some small bug fixes in Figma, just around some naming. I've added some hex values to the colors as well, so you don't just see orange, you see orange on the hex value. And trying to fix some type issues which still are persistent. There's a couple of bugs rolling around it, so I'm still trying to figure that out. And we also completed an audit on some high performing solutions pages. So this, I'm the DRI on this. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen very quickly again. So we're going through a lot of this stuff to see how everything is performing, because we're going to reformat some of these pages in solutions as well. So a lot of numbers to go through. This is all a little bit new to me, but it's exciting to see that we can get all this data, which is great because it'll inform the direction that we're going in for a lot of stuff that we're doing. We have another audit to do on another section of this as well, before we can really start getting into the nitty gritty of some of the UX and the UI of some of the stuff that we're doing. So a bit more of this is still ongoing. And next up, that's it. That was the last one. There you go.
Sweet. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.